Hello everyone, how you doing? And you're very welcome to this, the very first episode of local hurling with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course we have Padraic Mulry. Hello, Padraic. How are you? Are you well?
Hi Aidan, how are you?
Thanks very much
All
for
good.
I'm all good now. Thanks very much for taking the time out to discuss local hurling with us, and it's great to be great to have hurling back on the show again because it's been I used to do it with Pat Nolan. He was a great guy to do it with, but obviously. His circumstances changed, so we weren't able to do it. So it's good to be able to cover, I suppose, county hurling with Roscommon, the Roscommon hurling teams, and of course the club scene in Roscommon. So it's great to have that back. So yeah, so I suppose a bit of just a quick going over of the league so far. First of all, considering the quality of this Mayo team, a draw wasn't really a bad result in the first round, and then unfortunately things went kind of pear shaped then against Loud in Dr. Hyde Park, and then Seamus Qualter came in, which was a good appointment considering he was, I suppose, he managed the team in the past as well, so I'd be very familiar with the players involved, and of course he also managed one or two clubs in the county as well, so that was very very good for a familiarity point of view. So he kind of knew what he had to work with. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thanks again, Aidan. I suppose, look, starting off with the league, it's always hard to go to Castlebar to play Mayo. And Mayo hurling is on an upward curve, no matter what way you look at it. They're doing massive work down there. And I see again this week there was two more clubs set up in Mayo and they played their first competitive game during the week. And Turin were, in my opinion, very unlucky and probably should have won
They
in All
were,
Ireland.
yeah, yeah.
They're they're the benchmark now, really, for Roscommon teams especially. Look, and they've beaten Galway teams and they are doing huge work. Um, we came away with a draw in Mayo, and to be honest, and I don't mind saying it, we probably should have won that game. We were 6 points ahead at one stage, and they came back and they just got a point at the end. It was disappointing. Now they were missing their touring contingent, and we were missing players as well. But it was a game I felt that we should have won. It was there for the taking. And the Loud game, that was a real low point for us. Anyway, in Wisconsin, it was a low point, and I no disrespect to Loud or anything, but we always try and go out to win games in Roscommon.
Yeah.
That's what we do with County Hurling, and they're still trying it, still training hard, and it was a shock and it was a disappointment. And the lads gave their all on today. It just didn't work out for them. Fair dues to Loud. They were a different team to what I seen last year, playing big, strong, and fit, and they really, really were up for the game. And I suppose then we're under pressure at the minute. We went up to Fermanagh, which would have been Seamus Walter's first game. I suppose he came in after Francis and the lads stepped down, and Seamus was voted in by the clubs. And I was talking to Seamus a lot that week, along with Christy, the chairman, and the secretary, and he put massive work in on his first week. Like, the man was under serious pressure. He was thrown in at the deep end, I suppose, but I don't think you could have a better man in there for what we need at the moment. Um, that was his first game above in Fermanagh, in a hard spot to play, tight pitch, tight everything. For a man that came in and didn't really know a lot of the players, he only knew some of them from his time with Tremaine. And I suppose I would play under Seamus in four roads. We came away with a draw, and we were, in my honest and my own opinion, we were robbed at the end of the rubber free. There's no problem saying that. That would have won it. Look, the lads were awful disappointed after that game, but their heads were still up because they did put in a performance. They were missing on the day through injury Connor Cosgrove, centre back, Eamon Mulry, cornerback, wing back. They're two of our best starters at the moment. Connor Cosgrove was a huge loss, was that it? But lads stepped in, lads that have come back into the panel, and they did hurl and hurl out of their skin that day. We were just unlucky on that day. But as I said to a few of them afterwards on the bus on the way home, we didn't lose,
Yeah.
So We've only
That's
lost
I
one
mean,
game out of it.
in hurling or in any sport, you don't really lose as such. This is my philosophy on it.
Yeah.
You might agree or disagree with me, Padraic, on this one, but you never learn. You either win or you never lose. You either win or you learn. And I think that's the key thing with Roscommon at the moment, especially with the new with Seamus back in, and of course, I suppose really to a certain extent. When you think, I suppose you're without the likes of, I suppose Daniel Glynn and maybe a couple of other other really top-notch go-to players that you would have had last year. What's the story on them? Have they still to come back to rejoin the panel, or is there work circumstances or things that they're not able to rejoin at the moment?
At the moment, Daniel, as you all know, his transfer got to Dublin, and Daniel Glynn is a serious hurler, and he's a huge loss. And I text Dan and wished him the best in Dublin. He's going up there to a high quality team, and I hope everything goes well for him. I don't think he'll be back in this year. It's hard to know. If Daniel wants to come in, I'm sure Seamus will bring him in. We have Pete Callaghan, who's probably, in my opinion, one of the best hurlers Roscommon have in the last 15, however long he's playing hurling. He's a long-term injury, but we hope to have him back. Mace Carrington is back. He came on against Fermanagh. He made a huge difference. Hugh Rooney is another long-term injury, but he's back. He's not training yet, but he has turned up. He has a shoulder injury. Owen Costello is another long-term injury, but he hopes to be back in 2 or 3 weeks. So we have Owen Kieran back as well, came on against Fermanagh. So that's 5. Another one is 6. There is players back, but them players weren't not going to be there. They're just waiting on time. They're long-term injuries. Seamus has to work without them lads, but we're hoping to have them back to the record. And if to do, it will be a boost. Training under Seamus so far is going really well. The few I've seen anyway, and himself and Dahi Hand and Peter Galvin is in there. Dave Connell is done in now as well. There's a massive lift of training. Everything has changed. There's a pace to it. Lads are doing all their work. There's a buzz around the place again. I know we just need to win a game, I suppose, you know, and we have a big game Sunday against Armagh, 2:00, and that is a huge game for us. Look, we're in Division 3A. We don't want to go down to 3B. That is the honest opinion of me anyway. No one wants Roscommon Hurling to go down to 3B. So if we're not that far off, with 2 points, Monaghan are on top there on 6. We win on Sunday, all going well. That's 4 points. You know, we've had a hard game then against Monaghan away on the 18th. You don't know what can happen. You just don't know what can happen. It's sport. So look, we've seen mighty Liverpool last night throwing United under the bus, thank God. You don't know what will happen. You don't know.
That's it. Anything can happen, and I suppose really from from the team's point of view, to put the results into context, you know, the Mayo game, the Louth game, and the game against Fermanagh, new manager came in. But to be fair, when you're without those 4 or 5 seriously talented hurlers, if you had them in, it would have been different results. Because I mean, when you look at Daniel Glynn, what he gives you, for Porry Pearson and indeed for Roscommon, you're talking about an average of what, 110 to 115 a game. Very hard to replace. It's very hard to replace that, isn't it, Porry?
It is hard to replace it, but the lads that are there are doing their best, and are there. Like Paddy Fallon is his first year in with the senior team, and look, I know he played in the Dome, and I think he scored 117, 118 in that Connacht League. Now it's a totally different ball game in the Dome and in the Connacht League. It's the weirdest game, I think, to see indoors played on that type of surface. But he's done fierce well, and he's doing well at the moment. He's shooting frees. He's missing a few, but he's scoring more than he's missing. So he has stepped up for a small, young lad. He's doing really well. Roscommon Hurling cannot do without the likes of your top hurlers that are with their clubs. You need everyone. So Roscommon Hurling.
I suppose the way it is though with teams and in hurling in general, be it the league or the championship, is one door closes in, you have players that are out injured or suspended or can't play hurling for one reason or other, work reasons or whatever, or involved in other clubs or whatever. But it does, the positive thing to come out of that is it does give you an opportunity to look at the other players in the panel, which is good. And especially when you think that the championship is coming. So it's good to have a look at those in the league, so that if you need these lads in the championship, they'll have competitive hurling under their belt. So you know that, if when it comes to the championship, if there's other lads, more experienced lads that are injured or whatever, you can call on those lads throughout the championship, and you know that they will put in a good performance for you. Because as you said, these new lads that have covered for the top class lads that you've always had, they'll be learning a lot in each game, and that's a huge thing, isn't it? That's really key.
Oh, it's massive, yeah. To the younger lads that are coming in, and like I can't praise them enough. Like I seen Ryan Conlon playing there last year at County. I said to myself, he's going to be a cracking hurler. Look, he's in with the under-20 footballers now, and hopefully they go well. Young Jack Downing is another one. Just Dylan's there from Four Roads. Dara Finn from Pierce's, he was always a cracking good young hurler with Pierce. I've seen him playing in the club, and I'm seeing him up close. And I think he's a cracking hurler. Like, and he's in at the deep end now. He's playing midfield there in the last few games, and he's doing really well. He's a nice, quiet lad, goes about his business well. Very impressed with him. Like, I can't praise them enough. The young lads have stepped up, and I'll keep saying it. They were thrown in at the deep end because that's what they needed to do. And just speaking to Seamus, he's really impressed with them, and he's awful happy how they're going. And look, when Peach and Nace and Owen and all these boys come back and they're get into the actual physical training, I suppose, and get over their injuries, please God, they'll bring them young lads on more. And hopefully we get on well. Like, you won't feel Rackard is coming around the corner, and I think it's April the 15th or something. That'll bring them boys on. Hopefully, look, we gone poor in that last year. There's no denying it. We froze in Crow Park, but you just don't know what'll happen this year. And then we're straight into clubs then as well, and that'll bring on the young lads with their clubs as well, because they're getting good training, and then hopefully, like, at the end of the day, it's all about your club too, isn't it? We're all clubmen, so you're hoping that it helps improve their club teams and the standard of hurling in Roscommon. Look, that's what we're all here to do. And it's a battle, and it's a hard battle. There's only 7 clubs in Roscommon, but I just want to say on behalf of the hurling board, I suppose, for Brian Carroll, David O'Connor, and Valerie and Diane and all of them in there with the main county board, and they're going very well. The hurling side of things get massive help from them. Like, the lads get treated as well as anyone else, get as much as the footballers get. The food, the gear, training, everything is top class, So just want to say to Brian and all them there inside the main county board, they're helping, and they're doing their best to help us. I'm sure long may it last.
But also, in fairness, recognition to yourselves as well. Obviously, Christy McDermott is doing a great job yourself as well. Everyone on the hurling board is doing their bit. Could you tell us a bit about that and your thoughts on that, and the work that you do, and we say everyone else on the hurling board does?
Sure. Look, Christy's there years, like,
Yeah, a great man, lovely
14 or 15 years there now, and it's a hard slog what he has to do at times, and can't but not praise him. He does Trojan work. I've seen him up close with players and stuff, how good he is with them and talks to them, and he has a great relationship there with Brian and all the county board, and then you've Anne as well. They do massive work. I suppose I just came in really, I suppose it's during COVID more so than Anton. Christy was looking for someone to come in, and because during COVID, you had questionnaires and an awful lot of work to do with that, and lads training and stuff, and keep an eye on things. That's where I got involved, and then they were looking to know would anyone be interested in doing the PRO. John O'Connor, the main PRO there in Roscommon, asked me and Christy, and I said I would, but it's going to need help, because it's a I won't say it's a hard job, it's an enjoyable job. It's just time consuming. John is a massive help there as well. He's always on the end of the phone. He's busy too in town. So that's how I got into this. I tell you, when the county's over in May or June, hopefully, I'll be taking a little break for a month or two. You need to refresh, and get back and do your club. And I have a young family as well, and the wife there, she's awful understanding and awful patient. So look at you have
Fair
to
play to
look
you.
after
Fair
everyone
play
else
to
too. It just
her.
takes time, and it's the same with the players and everyone else involved. The amount of time involved in a county setup is absolutely huge. It's a 7 night a week thing, really. The lads are training 3 nights, games Sundays, Saturdays. They're doing their own stuff then outside of that. All the clubs, I believe, are back training now, probably playing challenge games or whatever. And like it's so time consuming. But look at it's not work if you enjoy it. And look, we all enjoy it. So
That's it, and
that's
that's
why
the
we
main
do
thing.
it. If you
And
don't
I
do it,
suppose
you
looking ahead to the game again, and I suppose what do you know of this Armagh team? Obviously, you played them twice last year in the division. You played them in the league, and then again in the semi final. Unlucky, I suppose, to a big extent, in the semi final as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was very unlucky. And I remember the day we played up there to the
Yeah,
it's a hard game to watch, and it's tough and fast, but lads done really well. Armagh are a good team. They're putting huge work into it as well. I'm looking here, they're second on the table on 4. Loud, we're lucky not to beat them, I think, in the first or second round. Armagh will be coming down wanting to win on Sunday, and they'll want to send Roscommon down to Division 3B, and that's the end of it. And we have them again then in the first round. But like, I don't fear them. Never did. You don't fear anyone you're playing. There's no point fearing anyone. So look, we'll see what happens on Sunday with Armagh. Hopefully we beat them and get over them. And if we do, they'll be coming back at us then in the record, I'm sure. And you never know. We could still make a league semi-final. There's a whole heap of permutations. It's so tight, I says as for ourselves, if we got to win, we'll just see what happens. But won't fear Armagh. But looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to watching the game. I don't see much of a game anymore because their head is in the phone for most of it. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
busy
Look, we'll
man.
see what happens.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting, I suppose, remainder of the league. I suppose really for the rest of the league or for the league in general, it's more about performance and lads getting game time ahead of the Racker Cup. Now we'll obviously do a preview on the championship. We look ahead to the championship, and I look forward to doing that, and I'm sure the listeners will look forward to doing that. So yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting remainder of the league. So have you had any other things you'd like to say on the hurling front? I suppose the amount of matches in club level as well, the way that the club championship it goes, it's very interesting. Like, maybe in the past it would have been 4 roads have gone on like 6, 7, 8 in a row or whatever. The kingpins, and then Oran are kind of doing really well. Porry Pierce's, I suppose, over the last couple of years in that league, I think it's kind of at the stage now where no one club is really dominating as such. I mean, at league won it, and then there's someone else won it the following year, and then at league came back and won it again. Unfortunately, then when it gets into conference, it's a whole new ball game. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, looking forward to the club. The draws were done last night for the junior, senior, and league and championship and the under-20, and everyone has 4 games. Like, it's kind of paid on that kind of a league base. But really looking forward to look for roads. They're there now again to be knocked. They're putting effort in already this year, I believe. So everyone will be out to beat them. It is anyone's thing. Tremaine have been unlucky, at league, picked them. That does be good games at league, and Tremaine. Pierce's would count themselves unlucky. Glen would probably be a loss to Pierce's, but someone has to step up.
Yeah.
To fill his boots, and there's plenty of good lads in Pierce's. I would never say anything. The Gales, Ronan O'Mara is in there now, and he's doing massive work in there. Young brothers involved in that. Sean, Tommy, Ian Delaney's in there. David Waldron there. He's over that. Self and Kieran Farrell, they're doing Trojan work there on the underage Christian Mona. Davy Waldron is putting his heart and soul into that, and trying his best to get everything for hurling. I'm looking forward to the senior championship. You won't feel it. The junior is always a good championship. You know, it's good for the younger lads coming through and the older lads too, I suppose. The junior is good for them
Yeah.
as well. And you just don't know every team. Donics are always there or thereabouts as well. Unlucky the last year, I think it was in the league final. You know, they've good hurlers. They've Naas Carn was in form of his life last year. He'd never hurled as well. Conal Kennelly's there, the Dowlings, Jason Martin. They've good hurlers, Donics. They always count themselves unlucky, you know. So someone has to, I suppose, catch for Rose now. For Rose probably would be favourites again, I have to say, this year. But after that, it's the step up, you know. You have to look at your Torines and your Galways. That goes for all the clubs, um, especially in Four Roads. Anyway, the Connacht is always the one that got away. I've played two or three of them myself. Last one by a pint. There are things you'll never get over if you lose. Well, I never have. Anyway,
Yeah.
they were hard ones to take, and you'd always love to have one. I just hope that whoever does come out of Scammon can look at Turin and see what can be done with hard work, honesty, and effort. And
That's it. And of
hopefully,
course,
hopefully.
hurling has changed a lot since we say our playing days as well. Certainly since mine as well. The approach. I mean, like God, remember the days when Francie Graham was playing, and a couple of those type of players. I mean, Francie, he was always a fantastic hurler. Played for Rosfm, played in Connacht finals against Galway, and I think he kept Joe Rabbit quiet on a few occasions as well. And also at club level, he would have played against Turin and things like that, along with yourself. A very good, serious hurler, and it'll be a while. I suppose there's a few Francie Grahams, or is he a once in a lifetime hurler that comes through? Do you think?
I don't think he is. No, there's plenty of good hurlers always coming through. Like, you can't beat youth. And it's funny you mentioned France. You actually met him yesterday when I was talking to him
Yeah,
for a while, and it came up about the hurling, and we were just chatting, and he was on about it and mentioned Joe Rabbit. Like, that's how much it means to him at the time when he was playing, and he always had his head there, stuck in, listening to see what's going on. Fair play to him. It's great to see him around the place, you know. And lads, to look at France, you suppose, see what he achieved in hurling and in football. You know, he is all stars.
yeah,
So yeah, look at France and say, "Geez, I'd like to be like him and have what he has in his back pocket," you know. But I never write off the youth. I can't really talk for what's coming through in other clubs, but I see there's good hurlers coming in for Rhodes. You know, that are young. Now, a lot of them, they're training day and night. A lot of them are playing football, doing well with their county. I think we've two under 20 county football. I'm not sure. It could be three. There's one or two more in the under 17 and development squads. All them lads are getting fit, you know, and big and strong. And you look, you'd hope they all stay hurling. That's the thing. You know, we're a
that's it.
small place here in Four Roads where I am from. Well, every club is small, I suppose, in Roscommon in relation to hurling. And I have to mention Boyle as well, actually. I never mentioned Boyle. Just came into my head there. There's a Cormac Mullen down there. He's trying to keep hurling alive down in Boyle. He's doing Trojan work down there. I know teams have gone down at under 10s and development squad ages down the years playing them. So look, you never know. We just need to get hurling back where it should be in Roscommon. We just need good men, which we have. We need more. You need more help. You always need help. You're fighting the whole time for something in hurling in every small county. You know, we're seen as a football county. That's what we're seen as. And look, it is probably is the truth. But
That's
we
it.
have a proud tradition of hurling in Roscommon. You know, Wexford came and Cork came to that league. All them teams for us, All Ireland semis and finals. You know, we've every club is that. Tremaine, massive. They've done great work too in the down the year. So like, we have to keep going, and you have to fight it and see what's going on. And hopefully, that our senior team this year can just go somewhere and go well. And look, if your senior team is going well, whether it be a club or county, the they come up from the age groups. There's someone to look up to, you know. So that's what we're hoping. And just suppose, I'm not sure when this is going out, Aidan, is it Friday or whatever, but I'd be
Right.
asking
Yeah.
people to try and come to the game on Sunday to the Hyde, you know. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing to see I know it's a totally different game and it's a Division One league, whatever the footballers are in. It's brilliant, delighted for them and all involved. But the crowds at that, but we have a small cohort of people that come to hurling matches for the county. There is a few that come from fair distances as well. Like, but I'd love to see more people coming. You know what? Like, there's more people in clubs that probably can come to games. You just love to see them coming because the players, they see that, they say it to me, might say, oh, small crowd there. Like I was in Fermanagh last Sunday and the place was all around the pitch was one or two or three deep with Fermanagh supporters, you know, it's like lines in there, it's a really tight pitch. Now we had the usuals from Wisconsin and only for them. But I'd love to see more people coming to our games, you know, in the home and our club games, our county finals. We'd love to see more people coming to them. Look, county board probably have to look at that too. Can we make like an occasion out of a county final or something in Wisconsin? Like bring more to it, or I don't know what you do. Like you need to think. A group needs to sit down around the table and see can we come up with something to
A
make the day
brainstorming
exciting.
session.
Yeah, make people come to it, you know, and enjoy it, you know. And if people are enjoying something, you'll keep at it, no matter. It might throw sticks in your eyes sometimes, but if you're enjoying something, you'll keep at it. So you just have to keep it. And look, thanks for the
No problem. And we
offer to
look.
come on and talk about it, you know.
Yeah,
Fair
well,
play.
it's looking forward to now. We say giving coverage to local hurling because like for many years I played for Roscommon Gales myself, and many a battle the Gales had against Four Roads over the years as well. So and
There's a good, there's a good few for Roseman in there now, you know. So
oh, I'm sure
few
you
years
know.
time they'll come good again, the Gales. No bother to
That's
them.
great. So, listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do local
That's all.
hurls, and we look forward to talking to you again very soon. And the best of luck on Sunday against Armagh in Dr. High Park, and that's Rosine at 2 o'clock.
Thanks very much, Aidan.
No
Thanks for
problem.
having me.
Thanks very much.
Fair
And
play.
that was
Thank you.
myself
Bye.
and Padraic Mulry talking about the Roscommon senior hurlers.